Today we're going to be making the OESD Freestanding Tabletop Bouquet. You can find the instructions for this project on OESD.com. We'll link everything used today in the video description down below. Let's get the supplies ready so that you can stitch along with us. We're going to start by printing the mirrored version of the design onto Applique Fuse and Fix. One side of Applique Fuse and Fix has pressure-sensitive adhesive. The other side is heat-activated. This allows you to easily adjust your design's placement before permanently setting it with an iron. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to fuse the pattern to fiberform by ironing it on. Fuse with the paper side of the pattern facing up. Hold the iron on the pattern for about 10 to 15 seconds for a secure fuse. Fiberform is going to be the backbone for this project. It is a stable and rigid product that will provide a firm foundation to make our freestanding structure actually stand. But it's also soft enough to trim with scissors. Trim along the outer edges of the black outline and set aside. Next, cut your applique fabric to be bigger than the pattern. We're going to fuse one layer of soft web to the back side of all applique pieces to provide some body and really stiffen up that fabric. Now normally we would suggest using staple stick cutaway for stiffening up fabric that's used in freestanding structures. However, this project has a lot of layers and will quickly get too thick for some machines to embroider through. So we suggest soft web for this particular project design. Soft web will keep your applique soft and flexible while not adding any bulk and will keep your fabric from fraying over time. Be sure to apply soft web to all applique pieces that are going to be used in this project. Using the OESD Grippy Grid, hoop one layer of Aquamesh and one layer of Badge Master for all designs used in this project. The Aquamesh will provide stability while the Badge Master provides more body. If we just use Badge Master, the stitch density could cause it to fall apart, so using 2 layers holds more stitches than just one. Place the hoop in the machine and stitch the placement stitch. Here we can see the placement stitch on the stabilizer, and this is going to help us know where to position our applique onto the hoop. Using the OESD Perfect Scoring tool, score and remove the paper backing from the fiberform to reveal the adhesive surface. Place the fiberform within the placement stitching and finger press to secure onto the hoop. Remember that the Applique Fuse and Fix that we applied earlier to the fiberform is repositionable, so make sure it's all nice and lined up. Next, remove the paper backing of the soft web from the fabric. Completely cover the fiberform with the prepared applique fabric and tape in place with OESD Expert Embroidery Tape Tearaway to secure to the hoop. Now, what we're showing here today is double-sided applique, and that means applying fabric to both sides of the hoop. There are some single-sided applique designs in this project, but it's going to be the same process. The only difference is that you would be applying fabric to one side of the hoop instead of both sides of the hoop. Just avoid pushing too hard on the stabilizer to prevent it from dislodging from the hoop. Return the hoop to the machine and stitch the cut line and tack down stitch. Trim the access fabric as close to the cut line as possible, which is shown here. If the outer stitches, which is the cut line, are cut, the inner stitches, the tack down, will hold the applique in place. Remember, this is double-sided applique, so be sure to trim both sides. We're going to repeat these steps and do it all over again, all on the same hoop. Now we're going to do the flower applique of the design. So take the hoop back to the machine and stitch the flower 1 placement stitch. There are 3 flower designs to this project, and we're going to show you how to do the first one. Completely cover the placement stitch with the applique fabric onto both sides of the hoop. Use tape to secure in place. And then we're going to take the hoop to the machine and we're going to stitch out the cut line and tack down stitches for the flower 1 design. Trim the access fabric as close to the cut line as possible, as shown here. Since this is double-sided applique, we will trim both sides from the hoop. There are 3 flower designs to this project, so repeat these steps for all the versions of the flowers, making sure to apply applique fabric to both front and back of the hoop. Now we're going to stitch out the remaining machine steps, which in this case is the detail and satin stitching covering the edges of the applique. Be sure to follow the thread chart and match the bobbin thread to the top thread. We're going to remove our project from the hoop and trim away the access stabilizer. Rinse all pieces of the project in warm running water until the design is only slightly tacky. Let the project air dry completely on a drying rack. Once dry, press the right side of the project face down on an OESD Perfect Embroidery press cloth. Use steam to make the vase pieces more pliable and shape them into a gentle S curve, as shown here. The OESD Perfect Embroidery press cloth is great to have in your supply. It presses puckers out of embroidered fabrics, prevents embroidery texture from getting crushed by the iron, and absorbs steam to set a perfectly pressed finish. The best part is you can use it over and over. Repeat the ironing process for remaining pieces. Before assembly, use the OESD mini mat and the OESD Perfect Punch tool with the 3mm attachment to create the eyelets. You will need to punch holes in the soil and 2 holes for each of the vases. The OESD mini mat is the perfect companion to our Perfect Punch tool. The mini mat will protect your work surface while punching eyelets, and there are 3 tip sizes stored at the end of the Perfect Punch tool. There should be a hole at the top and bottom of the vase. Take care not to cut the satin stitching. There is a particular order for the bouquet so we can get a variety of flowers evenly spaced out. We'll slot the bouquet pieces into the middle and spread the sections out so there is equal space between them. And just a reminder that all of these instructions can be found online and downloaded at OESD.com. The instructions go into detail and show step-by-step pictures to help guide you into making this awesome project. Using OESD alligator clamps, we'll pull the buttonnettes of the bouquet sections through the eyelets of the vase soil. Alligator clamps are specialty tweezers that use gripping teeth and long neck for increasing leverage and getting into hard-to-reach places. Now we're going to line up the tops of the vase eyelets to the soil buttonnettes and pull them through. You can use OESD button clips to hold the buttonnettes in place while assembling. Just place the button clip over an assembled loop and button to temporarily secure the connection while you complete other areas of the structure. Next, we're going to pull the side vase buttonnettes through the side vase eyelets. And we're going to do this all around the vase until everything is connected. Now we can really see the shape of the vase starting to take form. Our last and final step is to pull the bottom vase buttonettes through the bottom of the vase side's eyelets. And now you have a finished freestanding tabletop bouquet. Don't be afraid to play around with other colors when making your own version. Be sure to show us your creations on OESD's Facebook group, The Perfect Stitch. We would love to see all the wonderful projects you're making. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can get more helpful videos like this one. Enjoy and happy stitching!